While there are definitely mixed opinions about it in the print-on-demand world, I personally think that the introduction of AI image generators is one of the best tools that new print-on-demand sellers can utilize in their business. Especially with print-on-demand getting way more saturated than ever, it's really important to be able to make one-of-a-kind designs for very specific niches. So in the past, you might have been able to actually sell a design, say for a teacher or a nurse, and you could just go onto a place like Creative Fabrica or Canva, and you could just find generic nurse or teacher graphics to go with your designs. But if you actually want to stand out and make sales in your print-on-demand business, now you have to get very specific with the types of niches you're targeting. So you're going to have to make designs for things that are way more niche specific than just a simple teacher shirt or a nurse shirt. Now, with that comes the challenge of finding pre-made graphics and designs that could actually go with something as specific as maybe a nurse who loves her corgi. So in today's video, I'm going to be showing you actually how to make AI generated designs for 4 different print-on-demand products. We're going to design for a t-shirt, a mug, a sticker, and a notebook today. And I'm going to show you how you can use a really simple AI image generator tool to make designs in under 5 minutes for each of these types of products to sell on your Etsy store, on your Amazon store. So let's not waste any more time and just jump right into this process. Now, the very first thing that I have done is I have logged into my Printify account. Now, if you aren't familiar with Printify, they are basically the middleman between you and the platform that you are selling on, who has all of the white label products that you are going to sell. So for example, in print on demand, if I wanted to sell a mug, I'm going to be the one who creates the design in the listing on Etsy, but then Printify, my manufacturing partner, they are going to actually have the product, they're going to print it, they're going to store it, ship it, pack it to your customer. So they are doing all of that legwork for you. So let's just find the first product we are going to be designing for today with our AI designs. So since it is such a popular one and a really good one to get familiar with, I want to start with creating a mug design today. So this is the ceramic mug that I'm going to be using on Printify, and I'm just going to go ahead and push start designing. Now, if you've never used Printify to sell print-on-demand products on Etsy, it's a really easy process to get started with them. They're totally free to use, and I'll have a video linked down below with how to set up your Printify and Etsy accounts if you do want to do that. All right, so now that we have clicked start designing on this mug, we are actually going to go over to another resource to start finding the niche that we want to target today. So like I said, we can't rely on print on demand anymore, just selling very generic products. We have to get very hyper specific with the types of customers we want to target. Now, one of the ways that I like to teach to do this is something called cross niching, which is where you take 2 really popular and often very saturated niches and then put them together to create something that's more unique and more targeted. So one of the best ways I like to do this is by taking holidays mixed with something like people's hobbies, with their careers, or even something like their pets. Now, I actually have a free resource for you guys, which is my cross-niching guidebook that I have pulled up here. And this guide is going to help you come up with over 40,000 different cross niches like the ones we are going to be using today. It has categories of holidays, careers, pets, all sorts of different things. So you can get that free along with a hour-long workshop of how to actually use that down below in the description. But for today, I think we are going to stick with 2 things that are really popular and make really good sub niches, which is holidays mixed with people's pet types. Now, a really popular holiday that is in the summer is definitely Independence Day in the United States, and I think this could make a really good niche for a mug mixed with somebody's pet breed. So let's take the niche of Independence Day and go down to where we have pet types, specifically dog breeds. So there are so many different breeds to choose from, and while some people might be tempted to just make a generic dog 4th of July design, you're going to make way more profit if you get even more specific and do something like a bulldog 4th of July or a poodle 4th of July. Now, a really popular dog breed that I've actually seen trending recently on Etsy is actually a Yorkshire Terrier, so I think that could be a really cute one for us to start with, making a 4th of July design with a Yorkie on it or a mug. So let's go over to our design suite where we're going to start making this AI image. All right, so I am over on Kittl, which is the design suite that I use for pretty much everything. And all we're going to do is click new project here. And one of the things I love on Kittl is that if you are using Printify to sell your products on Etsy, they actually have a bunch of pre-made sizes for your canvases for many of their products. So we are doing a mug right now. So I'm just going to go ahead and click mug and start creating. Now, the very first thing we're going to do for this design is go over to the left-hand side where it says Kittle AI and then image generator. And we are just going to start by describing our image. So for AI images, sometimes it's better to start very simple and then kind of add to your description as you're trying to figure out how to phrase this the best to get the best looking image. Now, sometimes it takes a few tries for the AI image generator to get exactly what you want, and that's totally fine. It's still really, really quick to make these images. So I'm just going to say something like, I just said cute Yorkie celebrating 4th of July, and then we are going to pick which style we want this in. So typically I like these clip art styles, and I either like to go for maybe a cartoon look. This kawaii is pretty cute, or sometimes the t-shirt graphic ones work really, really well. But I think I'm going to go with the cartoon style and just go ahead and generate that image. All right, and after just a second, it generated this super, super cute image of a Yorkie celebrating 4th of July. I think that any Yorkie owner would really, really love this. So the very first thing we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and click remove background. That is just going to get rid of the white background. You can't see it now because we're designing for a white mug, but if we did put this on another color, that would show through. All right, and the next thing I might do for this design is just add a little bit of text, something fun. So let's go over here to the text and add a headline. And I might say something like freedom loving Yorkie. It's simple, it's cute, and I think an owner of a Yorkie would like this. All right, so I'm just adding a couple lines of text, and then we'll play around with the font here. I really like this font Sunshade right here. That looks super cute. And then Yorkie we can do in something different. That looks cute here. So a lot of times I like to pair like a script font with something a little bit more blocky. That looks very fun. And then one last thing we can do to make this even look more cohesive is we can click the text here, and for the color, we can pick this dropper tool, and then we can choose one of the colors on the Yorkie here. So I think I might try to choose this red color, and then Yorkie we could do in one of the blues that's on this cute little Yorkie's shirt. That looks super, super cute. All right, now for the mugs, if we want the design to actually be on both sides, all we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and click this duplicate button, and then we're just going to drag another one to the other side as well. And I typically like to have the designs facing the opposite way, so I'm just going to right click on this and click flip horizontal. All right, that is looking super cute so far. Now all we're going to do is go over here where it says export, and we're going to make sure to remove the background and export that design. Now we're back over on Printify where we're going to upload this to our mug. So I'm just going to click the upload button and pick the file from our computer. All right, this is looking super cute so far. If we wanted to, we could even make this a little bit bigger and make sure it stays centered. And then once we're happy with it, we'll just go ahead and preview, and you can see what it's actually going to look like on a mug. That looks super cute. I know this kind of design would do really, really well on Etsy. And on Printify, we can actually see these in context photos to what it would actually look like. That looks so, so cute. And it would have been really, really hard for us to find a pre-made graphic that was a cute Yorkie celebrating 4th of July. So that's why AI is so powerful, because we could make something so, so specific. Then we're targeting Yorkie owners as well as the specific holiday of 4th of July. So let's move on to the next product we're going to be designing for. All right, so the next product we are going to design for from Printify is going to be one of their journals. So let's click on this spiral notebook here and get started designing this. Now this is going to be a little bit of a different size of the design that we just did, but very similar concept. So let's go back over to the cross nation guide that we used previously and find our new combination of maybe a holiday with a pet. Now for this one, maybe we should try something a little bit different than just a dog breed. We could do one of these other more uncommon pets just to make us stand out a little bit more. So I'm thinking maybe even something like a turtle or a tortoise could be a fun one. So let's go with a turtle, and then we're going to go back over to the holidays and pick out something that could work really, really well with this. Now, one really popular month-long event or holiday that comes every single summer that makes great sellers is Pride. So this is a very popular niche, and there are tons of pet owners who are also celebrating Pride in the summertime. So I think this could be a really fun niche combination to make with that turtle idea that we had. So let's go back to Kittle and create a really fun kind of turtle Pride design. Now again, we're back on Kittle. I'm just going to click new project, and then again we're going to go with one of their pre-made templates, which is this notebook cover, and create that. And this is going to have both the front and the back of the notebook here. So for this one, instead of just a one-off AI image, we could actually create an AI image pattern that can go over this entire cover, which looks really, really nice for this kind of thing. You can also do the same concept for something like a throw blanket or a tote or an all-over print item. Patterns look really, really good on these types of things. So let's go to the Kittle AI, and then we're going to describe our image. So again, I'm going to do something like cute turtle celebrating pride, and then we are going to go over to the pattern styles and click cute. That's a really good one, and generate this image. Now, patterns sometimes take a little bit longer to get right, so we might have to try this a couple times before we get the perfect pattern. All right, so on the first try, this is pretty cute, but I think we could do a little bit better. I don't love how this turned out right here. So let's try to generate another pattern and see if we can get something a little bit better. The other thing we can do is also change the aspect ratio, which I didn't do right away, just to make it more of an optimized size for this notebook cover. Let's take out the word cute since it already is a cute style and just do turtles celebrating pride, keep it in that cute style, and generate this image. All right, so after just a second, it came up with this really fun, cute, almost kawaii style turtle pride image. So that is looking pretty good, and all we're going to do is make sure to stretch this all the way out so it covers the entire canvas. We don't want to leave any white on the edges here, and we definitely could add some text to our cover, but I think this looks pretty good as it is. So once we're happy with it, all we're going to do is go ahead and export, and then we're going to go back and upload it to our notebook. All right, so again, we're just going to go over to upload in my device. All right, so we went ahead and uploaded that to the front here, and that looks pretty good. So we're just going to go ahead and preview this and see if it's ready for us to actually sell. All right, so that is what it would look like printed on the notebook. You can see how it kind of cuts through the image here. So if there's any text or really important things, you want to make sure that you're okay with the spiral going through that edge. And then we can also see it in context right here. That looks super, super cute. And I know something like this would sell really, really well in the summertime. Right now, let's move on to our next product, which is going to be a sticker. This is super, super popular and one of my favorite AI designs to make because you can literally make it as simple as just one image. You don't have to add any text or anything fancy to it. So let's head back over to our cross station guide and just think of what we could do for a really, really cute sticker. Now, it's still a little ways away, but one of the biggest holidays for print-on-demand sellers right behind Christmas is going to be Halloween. I sell so many Halloween designs every single year, and this makes a really, really good one to cross with something like pets. So let's go back over to the pet list. I think I might go back to the dog breeds, and we're going to find a really cute dog to cross with the niche of Halloween. So some of the different ones we could do, we could go with a poodle, could be cute, a beagle, dachshund, Great Dane, Chihuahua could be cute, Australian kettle dogs, Dalmatian, collies could be really cute, and people that have collies are really passionate about them. So maybe that could be a fun one to do, is a collie celebrating Halloween or dressed up in some kind of Halloween costume. So let's go back over to Kittle and start working on this sticker. Now on Printify, these stickers that I like to do are these kiss cut stickers, and they're really, really low price to sell. So we're going to click start designing here. And for these ones, the print area size is generally just going to be a square, at least 800 pixels wide. So we're going to go to Kittle and create that new project. So we're going to do the width of 832 by 832 and go ahead and create. Now we'll go back over to the Kittle AI and start describing our image. So again, I'm going to go very similar to what we've been doing in these other ones. And by now you should kind of know the process of how to find a really good image. So I'm just going to try cute collie celebrating Halloween. And if that doesn't work, another thing I thought of was we could do like cute collie in a witch hat with a trick-or-treat basket. So there's a few different options we could try. And then I'm going to go to the clip art styles. And again, I think I'm just going to go with that cartoon style. If we don't like it, we can always try the kawaii one. And then I'm going to keep the aspect ratio 1:1. Now we'll let that generate and see what it comes up with. All right, so after our first try, this is what it came up with. I'm actually really, really happy with how this turned out. It's kind of what I was thinking of with the witch hat. I didn't even have to tell it that. So let's go ahead and remove the background here. And then one last thing I might want to do is this little bat, it might work well, but I can also take the eraser and I can kind of just erase this bat, because on a sticker, it might not kind of translate the same way, or it might make the sticker have like a weird bump out. So if we can keep the image as like contained to itself as we can, that's going to give us the best results. So I'm just going to click done. And then like we did on the other one, we're going to stretch out this image, but I'm not going to add any fancy text to this. We're just going to go ahead and center it and take up as much of the canvas as we can. All right, so that is looking really, really good. Very simple. And all we have to do is export this and remove the background. Now we're back on Printify and we're just going to go ahead and upload our sticker. All right, we uploaded it and it just positioned it right in the middle. So let's preview it as the sticker. All right, and that looks really cute, and we could see what it would look like actually on a laptop or even on packaging. That is so, so cute. And really, it's so simple. Doesn't get easier than this. For something like this, you could literally make Halloween designs for pretty much every dog breed out there. So if you find something like this does well in your store, you could then make this like a cute Halloween poodle design, or a Rottweiler, or a bulldog, or a pug. So the possibilities are really endless with something like this. And like I said, Halloween and dog breeds, two of the most popular niches sold for print on demand. So combining them together just makes something that is very sellable with a lot less competition than if we just made a generic Halloween sticker. Now, our next product is going to be just a tried and true print on demand staple, and that is going to be a t-shirt. So back on Printify, I am just going to go with the Bella and Canvas 3001 t-shirt. It's just a really good quality standard t-shirt. I love to sell these on Etsy, and we're just going to click start designing. Now, again, let's go back over to our Cross Nation guide and figure out what holiday and maybe pet combination we want to go with. Now, another holiday that's coming up in the fall that a lot of people don't think about selling is actually items for Sweetest Day. Now, Sweetest Day is very similar to Valentine's, but it comes a lot later in the year. So we can do a really similar design to a Valentine's design, but then market it towards Sweetest Day. And then people, when they're looking for a Sweetest Day gift, they will hopefully come across our items. So that could be super cute with some kind of dog or cat or other type of pet. So since we haven't made one yet, I think making a specific cat breed design could be really fun. So we have ragdoll cats, exotic short hair, British short hair, Sphynx, Persian, or we could go for something even more out there like an uncommon pet like a chicken. Tons of people are raising chickens in their backyard for eggs nowadays and love to make funny t-shirt designs all about raising chickens. That could be a fun one. Or something like a chinchilla or a hermit crab. Those have a lot of demand for them. Tons of people have them as pets, but there's way more designs for dog owners, cat owners, etc. So let's actually try one for chicken. If we don't like it, we could pivot to hermit crab, but let's go back over to Kittle and start designing. So again, we're going to click new project. And then we're going to go to the pre-made template of the t-shirt size for Printify and create that canvas, and then over to Kittle AI. So let's do something like cute Sweetest Day chicken, or if that doesn't work, because Sweetest Day and Valentine's kind of have really similar aesthetics, we could just do like cute Valentine's Day chicken shirt, and then it's going to come up with a design that could work for Sweetest Day as well. So I just said cute chicken celebrating Sweetest Day, and then we're going to click the cartoon style and see what that comes up with. I don't have super high hopes that we're going to get it on the first try, but hey, we might. All right, and I was wrong and actually came up with something really cute right away. The only thing is, I think this design might not be the most optimal for a t-shirt. So one other thing we could try is put it in a t-shirt graphic style and see if we get something that might print a little bit better on an apparel item. This would work really well on like a mug or a journal, but sometimes for t-shirt designs, you want them to be a little bit simpler. So let's try to generate a t-shirt graphic. All right, after trying it in the t-shirt style, it actually came up with this, which I think could be really, really cute. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and remove the background, and then I might add some text here to make it more related to that kind of Sweetest Day niche. So let's add some text. All right, so I just said on this t-shirt design, Sweetest Chicken on the Farm, but let's go ahead and change the font here to something a little bit cuter. All right, I changed this to the Amberry Garden font. I think that looks really cute. And then this this hashtag sweetest day. That looks cute there. And now the last thing we're going to do for this t-shirt design is just kind of resize it to take up a lot of the canvas here. All right, and once that looks good, we're just going to export it like we did all the others, removing the background. Now we're back over on Printify, and we're just going to upload from our device. And then I'm just going to resize this to take up a little bit more space here, making sure that it stays within the lines. And we could even go ahead and change the color of this t-shirt. I think that this would look really cute on more of a tan style. So let's see that. Or if we wanted to really lean into kind of that like love sweetest day, we could do it on like a pink color. But I think I'm liking how that tan looks. So let's stick with that. And then we'll go ahead and preview what it would look like on an actual t-shirt. All right, that looks super cute. And we can even show what it would look like on a model. Very cute. That looks really, really good. And it didn't take us a long time at all to make. So I hope in this video you could see how you can use AI to generate tons of images that are so specific to really, really niche down ideas for your Etsy shop. Now, this same concept you can take and run with pretty much any print-on-demand product out there. I kind of gave you a range of a few different ways you could do this, but that covers the most of the different product types. Now, if you've never used Printify before, I'll have all their information linked down below so you can get started with a free account for them, as well as if you want to check out Kittl, I'll have all their information linked down below as well. And if you want even more really fun AI ideas, I highly recommend checking out this video next. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.